everyone, if you set goals this year but feel stuck or haven't seen progress, you're in the right place. Today, we're not rehashing things you've heard over and over. Instead, I'll share 3 research-backed techniques that I've learned that will actually move the needle on your goals. We'll dive into a little how the brain works when it comes to goals, and how you can utilize this to make proper goals we can actually work towards and not just repeat another year of New Year's resolutions that are then forgotten. First, let's have a quick dive into how the brain works to drive motivation so we can utilize this to our advantage. Motivation arises from a tightly integrated brain network in which midbrain dopamine neurons send out phasic signals whenever outcomes exceed expectations. So this means when something better than expected happens, this reinforces the action that led to those rewards, and it drives the wanting rather than just pleasure. Dopamine does not directly cause the hedonic pleasure of reward, meaning the liking of rewards and pleasure. Instead, it's responsible for incentive salience, meaning the wanting of more. So you know how people say dopamine is a reward chemical? It's not really. It's more the chemical that gets released before you experience that positive reward feeling. And it's what drives us to want more of it. Animal studies show that blocking dopamine transmission diminishes willingness to work for rewards, even though the actual pleasure response remains intact. A study done on rats where they stopped the dopamine system saw that the rat would still pull the lever to get food, indicating that it still felt pleasure. But if the rat was moved just one rat's length away from the lever, it wouldn't reach out to pull the lever. The motivational drive was completely gone. So think of dopamine and the brain's motivation system like GPS, combined with a fuel gauge. Dopamine acts like the navigator, telling you when you've discovered a shortcut or when you need to reroute, and the fuel reinforcing every step forward. It makes you want to keep going. So why do small wins matter? Dopamine neurons signal reward and reinforce action. Each time you achieve even a tiny win, your brain releases a burst of dopamine, making you feel good and primed to tackle the next task. It makes you want to do another task to get that same positive feeling. Dopamine is not the feel-good chemical, it's the chemical of more. That's why if you love ice cream, just thinking about having ice cream is enough to release dopamine in the brain as if you've already had it and you're enjoying it. This is what drives you to suddenly get the motivation to drive to the store and get the ice cream, even though a second ago you were absolutely knackered and ready to not get up from the sofa for the rest of the evening. Reaching small sub-goals floods the brain with dopamine bursts, creating a positive feedback loop that helps sustain motivation over the long term. Here are some tips to maximize how the brain works. Tip 1, celebrate small wins. Keep a visible progress tracker like a simple whiteboard or a habit tracking app, or even Excel or Google Sheets. Every checkmark triggers that dopamine hit and fuels your next push. One way I like to create these small tasks is the night before, I'll write down what is the single most important task for me to do during the next day. I call this my morning manifesto. Although I don't write it in the morning, I do look at it in the morning to remind myself of what the single biggest priority is. This helps me because, first of all, I know that this task is the most important thing for me to do to move forwards in my goal. It means I'm not just working on simple tasks that are just keeping me busy for the sake of being busy. Instead, I know once I complete this task, I've actually moved one step closer towards where I want to go. And that makes me feel a lot better about myself. If I then don't do anything for the rest of the day, I still feel good because I know I've done that big important task. And a tip I learned from Andrew Huberman, it's important to keep your brain on its toes when it comes to reward. Don't reward yourself for every successful action. Instead, when you complete an important task, one of those tasks where you told yourself you could have a reward, toss a coin, and if it lands on tails, you can have the reward. And if not, then you just move on to the next task. This uncertain anticipation keeps the dopamine system from being overused and losing effect. Okay, this all sounds great. There are some nice systems in place we can use to drive up our motivation. But if your goals are not achievable or not created properly, then this whole system fails. Some of you, like myself, have created New Year's resolutions back in January and started the month actually making progress towards them, but now have no idea where they are or how they're going. A much nicer way to make goals that I've learned from Ali Abdaal is called quarterly quests. If you're enjoying this so far and you're thinking, yes, I need a way to make my goals properly and actually work towards them this year, I'm currently offering free coaching for women who feel stuck, lost. Maybe you have multiple priorities you're trying to manage. Maybe you have goals you want to achieve, but you don't know how to work on them. I'll work with you one-on-one, free coaching for a limited time. It's free coaching for you, we can work towards your goals, create an action plan, and start working on them together. If you're interested, check the link in the description or go to herintentionaljourney.com. Okay, back to setting goals. We've got quarterly quests. Aside from the name making it sound more fun, basically chunking your goals into quarters rather than these big grandiose goals for the whole year makes it more manageable. You break this down into the goal to achieve at the end of each quarter. So you're breaking it down into 3-month chunks. You can still have the year-end goal and then use that to break it down into what you need to do each quarter, and then that helps you figure out what you need to do each month. We tend to drastically underestimate how much we can do in a year because the time frame is just too long. So much happens in a year of our lives and there's so much unpredictability, it's really hard to tell how things are going to play out. Having quarterly goals makes it easier to manage and more likely for you to stay consistent and achieve the goals you set out. So you can start by thinking about where you want to be at the end of the year. This is the overall goal you have. Then break this down into what to do in the next 3 months. So if you've created goals at the start of the year, or maybe you haven't, think about where you want to be at the end of the year and work backwards, and that will be your quarterly quest. I aim to have no more than 2 main quests, one for work and one for personal. Your work quest can be related to your job, or it can be related to a side hustle or a business. If you have other smaller goals you want to work on, these are your side quests. It's important to not have too many side quests though, because it will distract you from your main quest. The more you share your focus with multiple things, the less progress you will make towards any of them, and you're more likely to get overwhelmed eventually and ditch everything. So keep that in mind. Once you've decided on your main quest, break this down into what you want to achieve at the end of each month to get to the final result at the end of the quarter. Then, using that plan, you can decide what the focus for the month will be and what actions you need to take in the week. So if you've fallen off the goals you've created for yourself, let's start again. We've started the second quarter of the year already. This can be the quarter where you get started. It's not too late. The year has basically just begun, and there's still so much time to go for us to work together on our goal and be proud of ourselves for the effort we've put in. You need to believe in your own ability and make goals come into reality. You have to have a sense of audacity and delusion. If you're not reaching high enough for your goals and they're not challenging enough, you'll get bored. Your goals don't have to be safe. Yes, you don't want to be a mega unrealistic to the point that it's highly impossible that it will come true, but having goals that are slightly out there and a bit more ambitious, your friends and family may gasp and think, really? That's what you want to do? That is the kind of place you want to be. Just challenging enough, but it's still possible for you to aim for. You work much harder and you're more likely to see better results. Think of it like this. If you aim to make £100 this month, your focus will be on lower offer targets of how to get that £100. Whereas if you aim for making £1,000 this month, you'll naturally think differently because the goal is higher, and so by the end of the month, you're more likely to have reached over £100. Maybe you won't reach the 1,000, but you'll be closer than if the aim was £100. Remember, everyone out there is struggling with something in their lives. People are going through hard times. People have failed in some way. Things haven't gone according to plan. But instead of letting life and circumstances dictate how you respond, be audacious and take this as your training to come out of it better, stronger, wiser, and more powerful. If you want to make your life a success and you have dreams that you want to make come true, it's on you to do that. No one is coming to save you and give you what you need. Make your own reality. Keep yourself disciplined. Keep the bigger picture in mind, but focus on the day-to-day and take small actions each day and slowly move forward, so when you look back 3 months from now, you can be proud of the progress you've made. And then looking back at the end of the year, you can be proud at the effort you've put in to make differences in your life. Let this video be your sign that this is your audacious year, for you and for me. I told myself at the start of this year I'm not going to be lazy. I'm not going to make excuses, and I'm actually going to work hard and make real proper progress. This is the year I've set out for my audacious goals. Meaning, yeah, I have the guts to dream and aim high, and I've got the guts to show up each day and put the work in because I believe in myself to show up, to work, to make mistakes, to fail, to get back up, to learn and carry on. Look at your life so far. How have you been showing up for yourself? How have you been working towards your goals, if any? Have you ever given yourself a chance to even dream of certain goals or aim for certain things? If not, this is your time to think about it and execute it. I believe in you to make it happen. I believe you have it in you to strive for what you want and find a way to get it. It's not going to be easy. I never said it was. It's simple, as in most of us know exactly what we need to do. It's not complicated, but it's not easy. It's not easy to show up each day, especially on the days you're tired. You're not feeling it. You're not in the mood. It's so much harder on those days to put in the work, but that's what it takes to be exceptional. If we continue to just live the way everyone else lives, day by day, then we can't expect to have a different outcome, a different life to everyone else. Don't let another quarter pass where you just let life pass you by and you just go through the motions. You won't be this age again. You won't have this day come back again, this month or this year come back again. It will never repeat itself. So make the most of it and let the actions you take each day compound and create a new life for yourself. So let this video be your sign that this year is going to be the year you make consistent progress each week, showing up for yourself each month. And when you look back at how far you've come at the end of the year, you'll be proud of yourself. One exercise you could try right now is imagine it's December 31st. Look back at the year and write down what you're proud of that you've accomplished. Think about all the different areas of your life and how you've made progress. What exactly have you done? How are you feeling? Where are you now? And how have your goals developed as you've been working towards and ticking them off? What are you hoping the next year will bring? Then look back at the year and write how you feel if you carry on as you are right now. You don't achieve your goals. You don't make any progress. You haven't changed anything in your life. How do you feel? How are you living life right now? What are you hoping will come out of the year ahead? How does the year ahead look like it's going to project as you carry on? The point of this exercise isn't to make you feel bad and put you down. It's to highlight to ourselves how we can change things and really feel that loss aversion of what you're missing out on, because that is usually a lot more powerful to make us take action. I want all of us, me included, to look back and be able to say we tried our best, we put in all our effort, and we have no regrets. For those of you who maybe aren't so into creating goals because maybe you feel pressured by them or you get upset when you don't hit milestones, my suggestion is create a vague goal that you want. It doesn't have to have metrics. It doesn't have to be this big life-changing goal. Just something general that you want to work on and that you resonate with. Instead of focusing on metrics, your goal could be something like losing weight. Instead of saying, I want to lose 2 kilograms, a vague goal could be, I want to feel more energetic and more comfortable in my body. And I want to focus on my exercise and diet to achieve that. So this shift the focus from a specific measurable outcome to a more desired feeling. This can be less intimidating and more intrinsically motivating. Yes, this might mean it's not so easy to track when you've achieved it. But if having metrics and tracking the progress and the fear of not meeting the criteria would have put you off creating the goal in the first place, then this is a big positive step in the right direction. While I understand not everyone likes to create goals because of whatever reason, like if it feels like too much pressure or it feels too controlling, I don't know, whatever your reason might be, I want to share the way I see it, and of course, you're more than welcome to disagree with me. I like the idea of creating goals for myself because I see it as a way of me wanting to be intentional with my life. I want to move forward in different aspects, and I need to be aware of where I am now and where I want to go in order to make that progress. If I have no goals at all, then for me personally, I feel like I'd just be coasting through life, letting life happen to me, and I just react. I wouldn't be in control of my life, and I wouldn't be able to have or do the things I want to do because I wouldn't have taken the time to know what they were. Anyways, that was my little spiel on why I think it's good to have goals. Bottom line being, I should be intentional with my life. I should want to improve myself and be better and show up for myself and grow as a person. That's just the way I see it. Okay, this video is getting long enough, so I'll stop here. I'll continue the rest in another video where I'll go through some tips on things that I've been doing to help me stay on track with my goals. Until